Hello, this is our final video, debate response 2. Say hello. I will be responding to Esteban. He did the debate on uh, whether the US was correct to drop nuclear bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So I just wanted to recap a couple things that he said, just as a refresher. He basically said that Japanese forced our hand. They were using the oil that we were selling to them to power their tanks and help their war efforts in China. So in response, we said no more oil because they aren't using it for the right thing. And then they responded with the attack on Pearl Harbor. And we took major losses, and that's how the war began, basically. So the Pearl Harbor attack took down a lot of our resources. And basically he said that like the Japanese fighting style wasn't something that we were accustomed to. The kamikaze suicide crashes into our ships drained a lot of our resources. But the thing that we did have was we had a technological advantage. So the A bombs were, the logical procession of choices. We were losing so much. We had heavy losses. We were losing so many soldiers. Our had to get a charger. Our efforts were not as great as we wanted them to be. We were trying, little by little to take the little islands, and our regular bombs weren't doing the amount of damage that we would have liked them to. But anyway, so the technological advantage was with our bombs. It was logical. It was the only way to prevent many, 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 many more deaths, in our opinion, because I'm agreeing with Esteban. So I think it's always hard, in my mind, it's always hard to gauge whether or not like a serious attack or a bomb would be necessary. I mean, unless you're on the ground, you're, active duty, and you know precisely what's happening, how bad the situation is, that would be the only way that you would know. And I think Truman was in a good enough position to know whether or not like that would be a good idea. I know I read tons of articles about how it was like the hardest decision of his life, and it should have been because it's an atomic bomb. And he did make it a tough decision, and as Esteban, and I'm agreeing with him, he said there's still the argument that like continuing the war would have cost a considerable amount of soldiers, but I think the reason that there's hatred towards the decision is because they were citizens and not soldiers. But either way, a lot of like that amount of people would have died regardless. In my mind, it just citizens versus soldiers. Lastly, I just want to point out one more thing. Talking about the arms race, I believe it would have started with or without us, anyways. Also agreeing with Esteban on that too. But if anything, the unprecedented amount of people that got sick from radiation was like a warning, I guess, to other countries that were about to get nuclear weapons and power. So I guess now they knew, after that, they knew the destruction that an atomic bomb could bring. So yeah, I think the US was correct in dropping nuclear bombs on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. It was a tough decision, but it was the right decision in the end. Thank you.